Thinking about where things are going, Bob, what about folks in college who might be worried that given how quickly AI is improving, will developers even exist? And is it even worth learning to code? What would you tell them, or what would be your thoughts or advice for them?
If you've been around long enough, somebody's always saying that, you know, one reason or another, whether they're calling it 4GL or UML or no code or something, somebody's always promising a technology that gets rid of developers, but it's never happened. The only thing that ever really happens is that developers work at higher and higher abstraction levels, and we're able to just hopefully be more productive, but also solve different classes of problems. And I think this is really no different. It's a very different user interface right now, where you're working more with natural language than with a very rigid grammar. And I think that's interesting, but also kind of hard to learn in its own way, especially with how things change so rapidly in the AI space. I think it's important that anyone starting, or anyone that's in the industry, should keep an eye on these technologies. Once they start to solidify, really start diving in and learn how to use them, because one way or another, these will be tools in our developer toolbox. If you don't know the tools, you're going to have a hard time solving problems or being employed. If you were a diehard Pascal programmer in the 90s and you never learned anything other than Pascal, you probably wouldn't have a lot of options open to you other than maintaining legacy systems and maybe doing some obscure stuff in Delphi. It's really just a tool that is not very commonly used anymore. I think AI and LLMs are going to change some of the tools that we use eventually. Like, obviously, we're still with AI, still programming in Python and JavaScript and all that. It's just kind of a tool that we're leveraging to help us generate and understand that code. But at some point, the tools themselves will fundamentally change in one way or another. And it's important to stay on top of that. As a beginner, I would say it's probably best to mostly ignore it because it's changing so fast, and eventually it won't change so fast. And you can't really build or learn on a foundation that's just changing under you all the time. Uh, and right now, we're using these LLMs to just work more efficiently with existing programming languages, and you can't do that if you have no idea what's going on. So you really should, your effort is better spent right now learning the underlying technologies that you'll be working with rather than learning the AI stuff.